Hi everyone. The topic would be discussing today is literary terms. First, let us see about simile. A simile is a figure of speech that is mainly used to compare two or more things that possess a similar quality, and it uses words such as like or as to make the comparison, and it is generally used in a sentence to make comparisons between two or more nouns, and it is a direct comparison of two like or unlike things. So here I have given you some examples for similes. You can see the chart in that first example, busy as a bee. So if a person is as busy as a bee, they are very active and are working constantly. So we use this phrase for them, and they because they will be very busy like a bee and they'll be working continuously. So we compare them with bee by using as. For example, she is as busy as a bee. Here it means she is very busy like a bee. And see the next example, sparkle like diamonds. So here, like. Like is used to make a figurative comparison of a subject to have a shine like a diamond. And for example, her eyes seem to be radiant like the sparkle of a diamond. It means that her eyes are sparkling like a diamond. And see the next example, hungry as a bear. So we use this phrase to describe someone who is particularly hungry. For example, he came into the kitchen as hungry as a bear. And see the next example, flat as a pancake. So we use this for extremely level, especially too much. So, for example, there are two no hills. This terrain is flat as a pancake. And see the last example, hard as a rock. So here we use this phrase for something which is very hard. For example, the cake is as hard as a rock. And a simile helps our reader, our listener visualize, understand, and have a better conception of the quality of the nouns being compared. And it makes a lot more vivid and descriptive. And in other words, it can be said that similes can be used to provide a mental image to our reader or listener. Here is a list of similes to help you understand how similes are formed and how they can be used in sentences. First one, my love is like a red rose. Here, love is compared with red rose. And see the next example, my brother and I fought like cats and dogs all the time. And the next example is Indian is always as busy as a bee. And my cousin chatters like a monkey. And my father has eyes like a hawk. Here, hawk means a bird. And Stephen, so here father is compared with hawk. And Stephen slept like a baby after working for 10 hours. So Stephen is compared with baby. So I think everyone could understand simile now. Next, let us see about metaphor. So a metaphor is a figure of speech that describe an object or action in a way that isn't literally true, but helps explain an idea or make a comparison. A metaphor states that one thing is another thing, and it equates those two things not because they actually are the same, but for the sake of comparison or symbolism. And if you take a metaphor literally, it will probably sound very strange. Uh, uh, Here I have given you some examples for metaphor. See the first one, Franklin. Franklin has a heart of gold. So Franklin has a heart of gold. It means Franklin is very kind and generous. We use the phrase heart of gold to someone who is very kind and pure like a gold. And next sentence, walking encyclopedia. He is a walking encyclopedia. So we use this phrase walking encyclopedia for someone with a great knowledge of words and facts. For example, here they have given you, say he is a walking encyclopedia. It means he is very knowledgeable. And next, you could see here, Mary's voice is music to my ears. So here, uh, it means Mary's voice is sweet like a music. So they compared Mary's voice with music. And next example, you are my sunshine. We use this phrase for someone who brightens up our world or makes us feel happy. Okay, and see the last example, the world's stage. We can use this for all the worlds as stage, and all the men and women are merely players. So you might have heard this as a sentence. So world here world is our life is compared with world stage. Okay, and see next. Metaphors are used in poetry, literature, and anytime someone wants to add some color to their language. And metaphors show up in literature, poetry, music, and writing, but also in speech. Metaphors can make our words come to life, and often we can use a metaphor to make our subject more relatable to the reader or to make a complex thought easier to understand. And similes are like metaphors, but metaphors aren't like similes. And metaphors are commonly used in literature, advertising, and everyday speech. Here are some examples for metaphors. You are a monster, the exam was a piece of cake, and this town is a desert, time is a hunter, and all the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players, and they have their exits and their entrances. Next, let's see about allegory. So, an allegory is a story within a story. It has a surface story and another story hidden underneath. For example, a surface story might be about two neighbors throwing rocks at each other's homes, but the hidden story would be about war between countries. Some allegories are very subtle, while others can be more obvious. In most allegories, the hidden story has something to do with politics, religion, and morality, and complex subjects that are difficult to understand directly. Many authors find it easier to think through these issues by translating them into allegories, which are easier to understand than dense philosophical arguments. For example, George Orwell's Animal Farm is one of the literature's most famous allegories. The surface story is about a group of farm animals who rise up, kick out the humans, and try to run the farm themselves. So here the hidden story, however, is about the Russian Revolution, and each of the characters represents some figure from the revolution. The pigs represent communist leaders like Stalin, Lenin, and Trotsky, and the dogs represent the KGB, and the humans represents capitalists. The horses represent the working class, etc. So many examples are there for allegories like this. And next, let's see about oxymoron. An oxymoron is a literary device that combines words with contradictory definitions to form a new word or phrase. The uh, dichotomy of the resulting statement allows writers to play with language and meaning. An oxymoron can seem absurd yet make perfect sense at the same time. For example, virtual reality consists of contradictory terms that form a new meaning. And its some popular everyday oxymorons are almost exactly, awfully good, deafening silence, freezer burn, living dead. And writers can use oxymorons to dramatize feelings and situations. For example, the oxymoron absolutely unsure and comprises contrasting definition to support the concept of a character feeling completely uncertain. And this emphasis can add a dramatic effect to a sentence or a passage. And some oxymorons adds playfulness to writing. Oxymorons like seriously funny, original copy, plastic glasses, and clearly confused juxtapose opposing words next to one another, but their ability to make sense despite their opposing forces adds wit to writing. So I think everyone could understand what is oxymoron and allegory. Okay, next, this is your assessment time. Here I have posted some questions. You can find the answers. Thank you.